Mindful Life Practice community.
Okay, so this is for Tracy and Becca and Yasser, who were part of the fall season of my class. This is going to be essentially a similar class to what I've done with you guys several times. Hang on one second. Yeah. So we're going to start with some breathing, and then we're going to go through some gentle flow. Shouldn't be too tough for anyone. And then we'll do some breathing at the end as well. So to start off with, just to frame the class, I want everyone to remember that the yoga pose is not the goal. Becoming flexible is not necessarily the goal. Standing on your hands is certainly in my class not going to be the goal. The goal is serenity, balance, and truly finding peace in your own skin. So like we've done before, we're going to start off with a breathing exercise that's called Nadi Shodhana, or single nostril breathing. So if you want to just get into a comfortable seat and do some nice deep breaths in and out, just getting into sort of a relaxed breathing. And in fact, this breathing exercise, they recommend a lot of people use it for in preparation for meditation. What we're going to use it here for is to just sort of calm ourselves down after what I'm sure for pretty much everyone in this room has been a slightly chaotic, slightly stressful day, just to frame ourselves and get ourselves a bit relaxed before we get into our practice. So from your comfortable seat, you're going to take your right hand and you're going to put your peace fingers, so your index finger and your middle finger, just in between your eyebrows. And if you think about it, then your thumb is going to be able to open and close your right nostril, and your ring finger can do the same on your left nostril. And what we're going to work through is a breathing practice that goes in through one side, out through the other, back in through that side and out. And what this is balancing is both your yin and your yang, and your masculine and your feminine side. So I did a bit of reading up on this because I'm giving you a bit more information than I have in past classes. So you want to start. We are going to use your right ring finger to close your left nostril, and then leave your thumb off of your right nostril. And we're going to breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're going to close that right nostril with your thumb and exhale through the left for 4, 3, 2, 1. And then breathe in through the left for 1, 2, 3, 4. Close the left, open the right, and exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. And inhale through the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close the right, open the left, and exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close the left, open the right, and exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Open the left, close the right, and exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. At the top here on this round, we're just going to hold a bit at the top. So inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Close both nostrils and hold. And then open the right and exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close both nostrils and hold. Exhale through the left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close the left. Open the right. We're not holding this time.
And exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale through the left. 4, 3, 2, 1. And we'll do one more cycle ending on the right. So inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Close the left, open the right, and exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Just return your right hand down to your knees and just give yourself a few cycles of just regular relaxing breath, not really concentrating or focusing on anything in particular. And what we're going to do now is introduce just a little bit of gentle movement. So at the end of your next exhale, we're going to lift our arms up over our head and then bring our hands to heart center. And then lifting up again over our head. And then hands to heart center. And one more time. Inhale up. And hands to heart center. I've got the whole family joining in now. And then lift your hands up. And then drop your right hand over to the right. And lean over to the right. And feel that stretch all the way through your left side. And then lift your right hand up. And do the same on the other side. And if you want, you can experiment with where you're putting this hand. You can reach it out a little bit more. If you have a block nearby, I should have had mine to demonstrate. Just putting your hand up on a block a little bit, it gives a different kind of stretch. So reaching all the way over and then back up and hands back on your knees. And now we're just going to do a little bit of a twist to the right. So we're going to lift up over our head and then twisting to the right. So your left hand lands on your right knee and then look over your right shoulder. And feel that nice stretch. Now, bear in mind, if you've had a stressful day or if you have a bit of a stiff neck, like I do a lot of the time, just be gentle with yourself. Don't take it too far. And then lift your right arm up, leave your left hand on your knee, and then just do a bit of a side stretch in this twisted pose. You'll get a bit of a different feeling I get it through the back of my right hip when I do this. And then lifting up again, both hands above your head. And then let's do a stretch on the other side. So putting your right hand on your left knee and looking over your left shoulder. And take a moment to notice if it feels any different one side to the other. Most people don't have the same kind of flexibility or sort of space on each side. It's usually not even. And then lift your left arm up over your head and do this twisted side stretch. Again, I'm feeling it sort of behind my hip, down into my glutes. Excellent. Now returning to center, you can rest both of your hands on your knees. And then we're going to just do a little bit of a gentle forward fold. You can stay in your seated position like this, or if you prefer, you can bring your feet out a little bit. But what we're going to do is lift our hands up again, up above our head, and then reaching forward. There's no right or wrong in terms of how far forward you go or how low you can get your head. If you want to try and push the stretch a bit, always feel free to do that on your exhale when you have a little bit more space. And at the end of your next exhale, you can pull yourself back up into your seated. And then we're just going to do a little bit of a seated cat-cow. So I'm hoping everyone's familiar with the cat-cow pose that we usually do in tabletop, but we can do it in a seated position as well. So we're going to do that first. So you're going to round your shoulders over, curl yourself forward a little bit like a cat, and then opening up like a cow and lifting your chin up high. And let's do that again, curling like a cat. Feeling, hopefully that feels a nice stretch through your shoulder blades. And reverse up like a cow, heading up towards the ceiling. And one more time, cat. And one last cow. Excellent. Now we're going to transition to tabletop. If anyone has any issues with resting on their knees, you can always do what I'm just about to do on your back, just in the reverse. So, but if you're fine with being on your knees, you can move to tabletop position. Excellent. And what we're going to do now is we're going to do just that same cat-cow motion, but on all fours. So curling your back up into cat, and forward into cow, lifting your head up, arching your back down, dropping your belly, and back to cat, curving your spine, bringing your head down, and cow, and just one more time. Nice curve of your spine and your cat, and then up to cow, and then back to neutral. Now in our table, what we're going to do is you're going to extend your right leg out and your left arm forward. And try and make sure that your hand is underneath your shoulder, your right hand that's bouncing on the ground. Now, if you wobble, no problem. Feel free to put down your other hand or your foot. And then we're just going to do some crunches. So bringing your left elbow into your knee and back out again. And knee to elbow and back out again. And knee to elbow and back out. And then you're going to land your left hand and then just pivot your left foot off of the mat and you just rise up into this low warrior position. And you can reverse your warrior. So stretch over your right side and then back to our warrior and then windmill your hands back down to tabletop. And we're just going to go through that on the other side. So extending your left leg out and your right arm forward. Hold that and steady yourself. And then bring your right elbow into your left knee and back out. And again. Trying to extend when you're in your extended position. I find I'm usually steadier if I'm flexing my foot, but feel free to point it. There's no right or wrong. And back out. And one more time. And then we're going to do that same thing we did on the other side. So you're going to land your right hand, pivot your right foot off of your mat, and come up into your warrior on the lower, and then reverse your warrior. So stretching over to the left, stretching through your right side. And then back around into tabletop. Excellent. And then we're going to, sorry, I lost my place. What you want to do now is we're just going to do a quick child's pose just to stretch out our back. So you can have your knees together or wide as the mat and just slide back into your child's pose, resting your forehead on the mat. And at the end of your next exhale, just going to rise back up into table, realign your knees. If they were spread out, just bring them in a bit. Tuck your toes, and let's move up into your first downward dog for tonight. And you can walk your dog, stretch out your calves a little bit, get yourself comfortable in this position. And we're just going to stretch out here a little bit, just 3 sort of rounds of breath in our down dog. Now, if you haven't done yoga in a little while and down dog is not comfortable, totally normal, totally understandable, feel free to drop down into table or child's pose at any time. When I first started doing yoga regularly, I found downward dog actually one of the harder things to do. So at the end of your next exhale, just pull your gaze forward and step or hop your feet up to meet your hands, and you're in a forward fold. You're going to inhale, halfway lift, so you have a flat back. Exhale, fold, and then inhale all the way up to your mountain. Bring your hands to heart center, and then down by your side. And then we're going to take that again. We're going to inhale all the way up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then bend your knees and lift up into a chair pose. And hold that chair. Now, chair, you can have your feet hip width distance apart, or you can have them straight together. The textbook would say have your feet right together. I like having a bit of space. And at the end of your next cycle of breath, we'll rise up to our standing, hands to heart center, and then down into our mountain pose. While you're here in the mountain pose, just make sure that you can feel all four corners of your feet. So can you feel your big toe? Can you feel your baby toe? Can you feel your heels? Depending on how high your arch is, can you feel the base of your feet? Just recognize it and know that having a strong foundation in this mountain pose is going to come in handy a little bit later on when we work on tree. Let's lift our arms up above our head, and we're going to fold again. And inhale, halfway lift for flat back. Exhale, fold. And we'll do that chair pose one more time. So bending your knees and lifting your arms up into chair. In terms of your gaze, you want to try and have your arms sort of alongside your ears. I don't quite get there. And you don't need to arch your head up or anything. You can just have your gaze straight forward. We'll just hold this for a few more breaths just to wake up our thighs, get some heat in there. And then rise up, hands to heart center, and down. Excellent. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do one more fold down to your feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, and then you're going to step your feet back into a plank position. Hold the plank for just a couple of breaths, not very long. And then we're going to lower down to the mat. And if you've done this many times, feel free to go through what we would call a vinyasa flow or chaturanga. But if you want me to walk you through, we can drop your knees first and then lower you down with your elbows going straight back. And then we're going to lift up into cobra or up dog, whatever is comfortable for you. Then lower down and then move up through table and all the way back to your downward dog. Excellent. And then we're going to lift our right leg up for three-legged dog. And then bring your right knee through to meet your hands and just rock back and forth, waking up that joint in there in your hip. And then lower your left knee down and rise up with your arms above your head into your low crescent lunge. And then bring your hands down and rest them on your knee. And when we're talking about balance, you might find a bit wobbly in this position. Feel free to bring your right foot out a little bit to give your stance a little bit more width. That'll make it a little bit more sturdy. Just recognize if you're wobbly, you can do any adjustment you need to. Then let's lift our arms up above our head. And what we're going to do is you're going to open your arms into a cactus position. And then we're going to bring our right elbow underneath our left. And you can either grab your hands together above here, or feel free to grab alternate shoulders. The intent here is to give a nice stretch through your shoulder blades. And just feel if that changes your balance at all. And then if you want, you can do a few little almost cat-cow movements here. So curving down and then up. See what that does to your balance. And then release that back out into cactus. And then let's do it the other way. So the left elbow comes underneath the right. grabbing your hands up high. And you can do the same movements if you want to. And down again. Excellent. These are the arms that go along with the eagle pose. And then lift your arms back up above your head. And then let's windmill them forward to frame the foot. You're going to tuck your left toe, lift that left leg up, and then bring your right foot back into a plank. And then let's go through that flow back up to a downward dog. If you want, you can just go straight there from here, or you can follow along with me and do the flow. So I'm going to lower down, up for cobra or up dog, lower back down, and then through table, all the way up to downward dog. And now let's lift our left leg up to the sky for three-legged dog and bring our left knee through to meet our hands. Just rock back and forth for a little bit and then lower our right knee and lift our arms up to the sky. And now here, instead of those eagle arms, we're going to do something slightly different just to test our balance. You're going to bring your arms forward, both of them facing forward, and then start by pulling your left arm back like you're pulling an archery bow. And feel that, look over your left shoulder as much as you can. I'm a little tight on that side, so I don't get very far. And then bring that arm up above your head, have it meet your right. And then let's open on the other side, and you'll probably feel a different kind of balance happening here because now you're open on this side. So it can feel a bit more wobbly. And looking over your right shoulder. And then bringing your arm forward again to meet. Just rest it on the thigh for a moment. And then lifting up above our head, windmilling our arms down to frame the foot. Tuck your right toe. Bring your left leg back. And then let's go through that little flow. So lowering yourself down, lifting up for cobra or up dog, back down, and then all the way up to downward dog. Now we're going to do a little bit of a different flow here. It'll be a bit more of a standing flow. You're going to lift your right leg up. You're going to bend your knee and just do a little circle with your right knee. That's good. And then right leg all the way back up in three-legged dog. And then you're going to bring your right knee in, but you're not going to put your foot through. You're just going to do a very short core plank. So bringing your knee into your chest and then back up for up dog. And then we'll bring our knee to meet our right elbow. And then back up. And then our right knee to meet our left elbow. So crossing over and back up. And then this time, bring your foot through, place it between your hands, and then rise up into your crescent lunge, all the way up standing lunge. Excellent. Hands above your head. And do a nice lunge, making sure that your knee is squared over your foot. And then open up into warrior two. So your left foot is going to be parallel with the short edge of the mat. Your left arm is raised and you're looking out over your right middle finger. And then let's reverse our warrior, curve back, and then extended side angle. So you rest your right forearm on your right thigh, over the side, and then back again, reversing your warrior, and all the way forward. And one more time, reversing our warrior, and extended side angle. So stretching all the way through your left side. And then rise up. Let's return to our warrior two. And then let's grab our hands behind our back. And we're going to hinge forward into a humble warrior. So from here, just going to hinge right at your waist. And your arms can go up. They can lay flat against your back. But if you want a little bit of an extra stretch, feel free to stretch them up like I'm doing. And then let's rise up. And back to our warrior position. And you're going to straighten your right leg. And then we're going to do our triangle pose. So bring your right hand down to meet your right heel, and your left hand is heading straight up towards the ceiling. Excellent. Now back up to warrior two. Pivot and back into your crescent lunge. And then we're going to windmill our arms to the mat. Back to a plank. And then let's go through a flow ending up at downward dog. If you want to go straight to downward dog, go right ahead. So we're going to down, up to up dog or cobra, back down, transition through table, and up to down dog. And then we're going to do the exact same flow on the left side. So lifting your left leg up to the sky, bend your knee, and just do some circles with your knee. Should feel good in the hips. Straightening out your left leg. Let's do that core plank. So bringing the left knee in towards our chest and back up. And our left knee to our left elbow and back up. And our left knee to our right elbow and back up. And now bring your left foot in between your hands and up to your crescent lunge. And then open to a warrior two. And now I can see everyone. And let's reverse our warrior. And extended side angle. So reaching over the other way. Keeping a nice bend in that left knee. And then back over to reverse. And extended side angle over to the side. And then one more time, we'll reverse. And extended side angle, nice long stretch through the right, all the way to your fingertips. And then let's rise up into warrior two. And we're gonna straighten that left leg. Reach your arm forward and down to meet your left ankle, right fingers all the way up to the sky. Good job. And I realized I forgot humble warrior on this side. So we're gonna rise up and do that now. So you just wanna rise back up to your warrior two. Grab your hands behind your back and then just hinge forward. Feeling that nice stretch through I feel it through my shoulders when I do this. Of course, at any time, if any of these things don't feel great, just pass on them. If anytime you just want to sink into a child's pose, go right ahead. And then let's lift up. And then pivot. And get yourself back to a crescent lunge. And windmill your hands down to the mat. Back into a plank. And then this time, we'll just go straight up to our downward dog. Now this time, you're gonna lift your right leg up, three-legged dog. And then you're gonna bring your right foot through and rise up. Only this time, you're gonna land your back foot, your left foot, at a 45-degree angle. And so both of your hips should be heading straight towards the front of your mat. So this is warrior one. We can lift our arms up to the full pose. And then bring your arms to your hips and straighten that front leg. Now, if you get worried about hyperextending your knee, of course, leave a little bit of a micro bend in there. And then we're just gonna hinge forward into pyramid pose. So your arms can stay on your hips if you'd like, or they can come down to meet your feet, whichever is comfortable with you. And then we're gonna rise up. And then bring your right foot in a little bit. And we're just gonna experiment very briefly with warrior three. So you're gonna put all of your weight onto your right foot, lifting your left leg up and sending your gaze forward into a nice balancing. If you fall out of the pose, no problem. You can get back in, or you can just wait and catch up with us. And then let's bring that foot back. We're back into our pyramid pose. We're going to lift our arms up, bend that front knee, come back down, and then we're gonna just do a quick plank back to downward dog, all the way up. And then let's lift our left leg up and bring our left leg through. And we're gonna rise up to warrior one on this side. So landing your right foot, hips square to the front of the mat. Excellent. And then we're going to straighten that left leg, hinge forward. Hands can remain on your hips or they can come down along your side. Excellent. And then when you're ready, hands on the hips, lifting back up. Bring that front leg in just a little bit. Lift your back heel and then into warrior three on this side. I'm quite wobbly on this side tonight. There we go. And have some nice deep breaths, keeping your breathing as regular as you can. And then from our warrior three, step your feet back. We're going to move into a wide-legged stance. And we're going to do a nice wide-legged forward fold. So we'll start with just holding opposite elbows and letting yourself kind of dangle in this position. And again, if you need to or want to have a micro bend in your knee, absolutely do that. Never want you to do anything that hurts. A little bit of stretch is fine, but nothing should ever really hurt. And then let's place our hands on the ground or as close to the ground as you can get. And then we're going to lift our left arm up to the sky and do a nice twisted stretch looking over our left shoulder. And bring that hand back down and let's do it on the right side. All the way up. And bringing your hand back down. Now experiment with bringing both of your hands over to your left ankle. You should feel a nice stretch through the back of your left leg with this. And then move your hands gently over to the right side and do the same movement on the right side. Excellent. And then bringing your hands back to the center, just heel toe your feet in a little bit. And then we're just going to sink down into a yogi squat for a moment or two. Now, I've said this at every class. I never know from one day to the next how I'm going to do in my yogi squat. Sometimes my heels are up, sometimes they're down. Sometimes I love this, sometimes I hate it. All are reasonable reactions to it all. So if you want to put your hands down to balance, bring yourself up, heel toe your feet in into a nice forward fold. What we're going to do now is we're going to move into some balancing poses. So the first one we're going to do is tree. So from our forward fold, we're going to inhale, halfway lift, exhale, fold, and then inhale all the way up, hands above your head, and then hands down to heart center. And let's just rest a bit of a moment in mountain pose. Catch your breath a little bit. And then we're going to start with tree. And what we're going to do is you're going to kickstand your right foot up against your ankle. And then bring your foot up as far as you want. If you can, if below the knee or above the knee, they're all perfectly good. What you don't want to have is have your foot right on your knee, because that could put some pressure. And in terms of your arms, you can keep your hands at heart center like I am. Or if you'd like, you can raise your hands up above your head. You can decide to sway a little bit, have your tree move in the wind. And if you fall out, just recenter, bring yourself back. I seem to be quite wobbly today. And if you've had your arms up, bring them back to heart center. And then lower that foot down. And then let's try that on the other side. So kickstand your left foot up on your ankle. And then bring your foot up to either below or above your knee. And what you're aiming to do is trying to have your knee out as straight out to the side as you can. And you want to try and not have this hip sway out a lot of it. So it's keeping everything in alignment. It's challenging, especially if you haven't done tree in a while or ever. Trying to keep that alignment is definitely tricky. If you need to hold on to something, by all means do that. And then if you want, you can raise your arms up above your head. You can sway a little bit. Just play around with it. See what works for you. And then bringing your foot back down. And the other thing we're going to do is we're going to spend a little bit of time on eagle. So I'm kind of giving you guys a sampling of all of the balancing poses. When I do the full season, we build up to them, but this is just sort of giving you a taster of all of them. So for eagle, what we're going to start by doing is opening up to our eagle arms. So starting from cactus, you're going to bring your right arm underneath your left. And then we're going to sink down into chair. And then you're going to lift your right foot and sort of twist your right leg over your left. Now, if you can get your foot all the way linked behind your calf, like Nikki's able to do, I'm very impressed. That's great. I have yet to be able to do that, so my foot just kind of hangs out here, which is fine. Make sure to keep your breath nice and steady. This is a hard pose. It's asking your body to do a lot of different things all at the same time. And if you can, try and keep your elbows nice and high. That's going to give you the best sort of positioning for stretching out those shoulder blades. And when you've had enough, like my body seems to today, release that right foot, stretch up nice and tall, and release your hands down to your side. And what we'll do now is we'll try it on the other side. So hands back up into cactus. And this time you're going to put your left elbow underneath your right. And we're going to sink down into the chair. And then lifting your left leg over your right. And if you can, hook your foot behind your calf. If not, have it hang out in the air like mine is. And then aiming to have your elbows nice and high. That is great. Everyone's doing a wonderful job. And when you've had enough, just unhook that leg, stand back up, and release your arms. Well done, everyone. And we did warrior 3 in our flow, so we're good there. So from our mountain pose, just get yourself sort of close to the front of your mat. Let's just catch our breath here for a moment. And then lifting your arms up to the sky. Do yet another forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And then plant your hands down and bring your feet back into a downward dog. And then just lower your knees down and sink back into a child's pose. And let's just rest here for a little bit before we do some work on the floor. Let's do 3 more nice, slow cycles of breath. Excellent. When you're ready, just bring yourself up by bringing your hands closer to your knees. And we're just going to sit in hero pose for a bit. If this is uncomfortable on your knees, feel free to sit cross-legged or with your legs out straight. Just going to turn myself so I can see you all. So in hero pose, just want to rest your hands on your thighs. Have a nice long line all the way from the base of your spine up to the top of your head. Excellent. Seems like a simple pose, but there's actually a lot going on here. You've got the length and the strength through your back. You're resting on you can have your toes tucked or your toes out. I always have my toes out because that sends my feet into foot cramps. But I'll just demonstrate. You could have your toes like this and rest on it. And that's a great stretch for the toes. It's just a question of whether your feet can handle it. I think it's the kind of thing where if you do it a lot, it gets better. So I always tuck mine down, but personal preference. And then let's just shift down onto our bottoms, and we're going to stretch our legs out in front of us. And we're going to start with a forward fold with both legs out straight. So if you want to lift your arms up, and remember we did a forward fold at the start with our legs bent. This one's going to be a bit different. You're going to lean forward, and wherever your hands end up, that's great. If they end up around your ankles, around your calves, or if you can reach your feet or your toes, just go for it. And as I said earlier, if you want to try and get a bit more stretch, just do it on the exhale. So nice deep breath in, and then I'm going to extend a bit on my exhale. And again, if you need to have a little bit of a bend in your knees, please do so. And when you're ready, you can just lift yourself up out of that. Come back to the seated position. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bend our left leg. Move back a bit so you guys can see me. Tuck your left foot in against your thigh. And then we're going to do a forward fold in this position. So lifting your arms up and forward. And again, here, I typically have my right hand along the outside edge of my right foot, and my left hand usually comes in to grab around my ankle. And you'll notice that you feel this in different places in your back, in your hamstrings, in your hips, than you would have when we had both legs out straight. Excellent. And then lift back up. And now here's where we're going to do my fun, wild thing that I like to do every class. So you're going to bring your left hand behind your left leg, and then you're just going to lift up onto that left knee, that left shin, and then stretch your right arm all the way behind your head. And feel that nice stretch all the way through your right body. Hopefully this makes you feel really elegant and stretchy. And then when you're ready, just lower down and come back to that one-legged fold, and then straighten out your left leg, and we'll do it on the other side. So on your right, bringing your right foot in, and lift your arms up above your head, and stretching forward. And notice if this feels different than the other side. Just like everything else, you're going to find one side is perhaps a little bit more limber than the other. Maybe you feel a few twangs on one side that you don't on the other. And hold this just as long as you want, again, working on the exhale to get into it a little bit deeper. And then lifting up whenever you're ready. And let's do that wild thing on the other side. So your right hand comes behind your right shoulder, and then you just lift up. Feeling your left fingers reaching high and all the way behind your head. And then lowering down when you're ready. Excellent. Now let's just pivot on your mat a little bit, or I'm pivoting on my mat. I'm going to lay down my back. I'm going to bring my feet up into tabletop. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my feet, drop both knees. I'm going to start with the left and then extend my right arm out to the right, gazing over my right shoulder. So you can stay in this simple twist, or if you want a little bit more, you can layer your left foot over top of your right knee, and you'll get just a little bit more probably through your lower back. If it feels twingy and not good, then just return to both knees on top of each other. And just relax into this pose, into this nice twist. We've done a lot of twists today. I think they seem to be a favorite of mine. I think they're also a favorite of Alex's, who I've done most of my classes with. So it's probably I've inherited it from her. Just take a few more breaths on this left side. And then bringing your knees up to the middle. And then let's drop them over to the right. Doing the same thing. If you want a little bit more, you bring your right knee on top of your left knee. Just giving that IT band and your glutes just in your lower back just a little bit more. And again, looking over your left shoulder, stretching out your neck a little bit. Just a few more breaths in this twist. And then bring your legs up to tabletop. Then rest your feet down on your mat. Bring the soles of your feet together, and then let your knees fall wide into butterfly. And in butterfly, you can have your hands, one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. You can have your hands above your head, grasping opposite elbows. Just pick whichever one feels right for you. And just sink into this. Anyone who's taken my classes before knows that I love butterfly. I always pick my favorites, so hope everyone likes it too. Just keep resting in that pose. And I'm going to get us set up for our closing breathing exercise that we're going to do. Just going to let you enjoy that for just a few more minutes. Now I'm going to end with my other favorite breathing exercise. It's lengthening your exhale, and it's called the parasympathetic flow. So what I'm going to guide you through is the inhale will always be for 4, but I'm going to extend your exhale each time. Now you can stay in butterfly, you can stretch out into a shavasana, or if you prefer to be in a seated position for breathing exercises, whatever is comfortable for you, it's absolutely fine. So I'll extend your exhales. We'll start at 4 and we'll go all the way to 8. So what you want to try to do when you're doing your breathing in is fill your breath starting from your belly all the way up your chest, all the way up to your throat. And then when you exhale, you want to try and empty it from the top to the bottom. It seems, if you haven't done it before, this will seem like a concept of that seems impossible. Just give it a try. At the end of the day, your breath is your breath. Feel free to abandon what I'm guiding you through and just have your own relaxing breath. But give it a try. If it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel right. Totally understand. So let's just relax and go through a few cycles of just regular relaxing breath. Two more, just relaxing, calming breath. And then let's start with an inhale of 1, 2, 3, 4, filling up all the way to the top. And exhale for 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just let your breath return to a normal, sort of relaxed pace. And just rest in your shavasana, and I'll bring you back when the time is up. Feel free to start bringing a little bit of movement back to your fingers and your toes. If you'd like, you can give yourself a nice big stretch, lifting your arms up above your head, stretching out. And when you're ready, you can roll over to one of your sides. Just take a little bit of a rest in a nice resting fetal position on the side. And then slowly, if you want to, or feel free to stay right there, you can come back into a seated position. And I'd like to give a little bit of a thought to all of you. Starting off the year, my wish for you is comfort on difficult days, smiles when sadness intrudes, rainbows to follow the clouds, laughter to kiss your lips, sunsets to warm your heart, hugs when spirits sag, beauty for your eyes to see, friendships to brighten your being, faith so that you can believe, confidence for when you doubt, courage to know yourself, patience to accept the truth, and love to complete your life. Thank you all so much for joining me this evening. It was really nice to have all of you here. I hope this was a bit of a calming end to your day. I worked you a little bit in the middle, but hopefully the ending kept everyone a little bit calm and ready for either dinner or bed, whatever's coming next. Thank you very much for joining. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Thank you.